Hey guys, smile. Come on. Good afternoon. First, I want to thank the media for joining us this afternoon. As you all know, that we're here basically so that we could give you first introduction of cabinet appointments and key appointments to the administration. Welcome again to your press conference. I remember being asked the last press conference that we had regarding the appointments, and at the time it was very, we were in a really critical situation that we needed to address other issue. But in the meantime, as our fiscal team started doing its work, we had the opportunity and the time to pivot and begin to put the administration's team together. So this afternoon we're ready to announce most of those appointments to the public. Again, thank you for joining us and providing the platform for us. Before we do that, let's just kind of go around the table, around the room, and introduce ourselves. Start from my right.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Thomas Manglona, Military and Veterans Affairs Office.
Good afternoon, my name is Layla Staffler and I'm at the Department of Labor.
Good afternoon. Tina Saban, Senior Policy Advisor for the Government.
Good afternoon, I'm Gilbert Puma from the Youth Affairs Office.
Paul Tenorio from the Criminal Justice Planning Agency.
Good afternoon, Anthony Torres, Department of Corrections.
My name is Felix Notis. I'm here on behalf of the Cabinet Affairs Office.
Good afternoon, today my name is Joseph Wills, I'm here for Department of Commerce.
Hello and how today, Sylvain Somar, Department of Land and Natural Resources.
Danny Aquino, Commonwealth Bureau of Military Affairs.
And gabi po, my name is Ray Yomo. I'm with the Department of Public Works.
Good afternoon, I'm Vicky De La Gomez, Office of Management and Budget.
Good afternoon, everybody. Tracy Narita, Department of Finance.
You guys want to introduce yourselves? No? So there you have it. But let me begin to just reiterate our team. Francis Sablan. We've appointed her to head the Office of Veterans Affairs. And Layla Stapler. We have submitted her official nomination to the Senate for the Secretary of the Department of Labor. Tina Sablan, we're still negotiating, but she will most likely be doing work as a Senior Policy Advisor to the Governor. And Gilbert Pua has already been assigned as the Special Assistant for Youth Affairs. And Paul Tenorio has been appointed as the Special Assistant for Criminal Justice Planning. Anthony Torres has been appointed to the Department of Corrections. And Mr. Felix Nogues is the Special Assistant to the Calendar and Affairs Office. Mr. Joey Rios appointed as our Secretary of Commerce. Mr. Silva Nigusomar is appointed as the Secretary of the Department of Lands and Natural Resources. And Mr. Danny Aquino would be the Special Assistant for Commonwealth Bureau of Military Affairs. And Mr. Raymond Yumo would be our Secretary of Public Works. And Vicky Villagomez will, of course, return back to the Office of Management and Budget. And Tracy Norita will be appointed to the Secretary of Finance. Like I said, it's been almost a month since we took office, but there was a lot of critical issue that was at the forefront of our administration when we first walked in the door, and those took precedent. But we're very happy that we are now able to begin to constitute our cabinet members. There are several that are still not filled, but the names are pretty much finalized. Some of them are off island, and we thought that we would hold those announcements back until they come back on island. Let me first ask the Lieutenant Governor to say a few words. Okay?
Well, thank you all BDS for joining us this afternoon. And of course, we're presenting our secretaries and directors and special assistant for our government. These are the people that will be running the show in this administration. These are our rebuilding and trust team. So that's what we're here for, and as the governor said, was to have several positions that we need to fill. And we also invited the members of the legislature here to join us this afternoon, because we're all working together for our community and our people, the Commonwealth here. And looking forward to working with you through the media, so please put out the right information. I never fight with anybody. I love everybody on this island. Even if we have to hug each other, we can do that. And I've never been known to hate anybody. So please put out the right information. Thank you very much.
Okay. These are the individuals that we've chosen for the respective departments and agencies. We wanna say this, that there were quite a few numbers of folks that have submitted their interests, shown their interests, or expressed their interests, and have also submitted their credentials to us. There are still a lot of other agencies that we might have to go back and fill. So those folks will certainly be considered for some of these positions. And I want to thank each of our appointees individually and collectively for putting themselves up and basically wanting to serve in the administration. These are challenging times, to say the least. The issues that we're facing, not just the fiscal issues, but labor and immigration issues, economy, and other different policies. These are challenging times, and I expect nothing, just as the public expect nothing but hard work, dedication from our appointees. We believe that individually they're more than qualified to take on the individual tasks, but it really is gonna be the collective effort to move this forward, move the Commonwealth forward to addressing, share their thoughts and, or just a few questions. From the media.
Governor, I just have 2 questions. The first for Special Advisor Tina Sablan. Why did you decide to pursue this particular role, and how will you move forward given that there was a unity pledge inked between you and the governor when you were a former candidate?
Right, so as the governor alluded, that we are still negotiating the terms of this position, but my interest was in working closely with him and with the legislature, our delegate to Congress, our agency and department heads, and our federal government partners and other stakeholders to advance the governor's policy agenda. I think that I can serve in that capacity well, and I will do so to the best of my ability. And part of my focus, a big part of my focus in this role, will be to follow through on the commitments that are outlined in the Unity Pledge that the governor and the lieutenant governor agreed to.
And Acting Secretary Narita, we've seen how the actions of the past finance secretary have impacted this government's finances. If at all, hope not, but if the governor and lieutenant governor were to go through the wayside in terms of finances, are you ready to stand up for the Commonwealth in your role as the finance secretary?
Yes, definitely. And I'm glad to say that in meeting with the governor and the lieutenant governor, we talked about aligning our values and building integrity and trust in government. And so I am honored to serve in their administration to do that with them to the best of my ability.
All right, thanks.
Mr. Governor, have you selected yet a legal counsel for your office?
Yeah. Yes. The Attorney General. No, I really haven't, have the, I've had conversation with the Attorney General. As you well know, it's in the Constitution that we have to go through that route. And I certainly want to make sure that we get that advice and guidance from the Attorney General's office and the Attorney General himself. But that sort of taking a back. I'm not sure in the past. I know the governors in the past have had their own legal counsel, but under the circumstances that we're in right now, I've had a fairly good working relationship with the Attorney General and his staff, and no, we're gonna move forward. Eventually, as the volume of work increases, we will most likely have a full-time counsel in the office of the governor.
Sir, you already kind of alluded to this, or didn't allude to it, you did spell it out, but there's a question that came from a whole bunch of viewers that, can you explain your selection process for your cabinet members? Specifically, they said, how did they submit their interest, and how did you select the members?
Well, one of the things that when we open up, we open up and requested for the resumes to look at their credentials closely. I've been in government and public service for a long time. In a small community like ours, we know a lot of people. We know their capabilities also, and we know their philosophies and the individuals themselves. So those plays lot into our decision. I fully understand the political intonations sometimes of appointees, but I think the lieutenant governor and myself have kind of first of all, we're very fortunate in that we're non-partisan governor and lieutenant governor, right? So, you know, we're able to look at individuals and one, their credentials, the other one is their philosophy and individual.
Thanks. Oh, and when we last met for your last press conference, you were here for about a week and a half or so, and you were saying that your team with the legislature, you're working together meeting every week about the potential revised budget. Do we have any progress that you can report?
Let me pivot and ask Vicky, who's heading the team with the legislatures, or some are here. But Vicky, you have my permission to answer that question.
Thank you for that question, Brad. So this week, we were able to meet with all of the departments concerning the budget revision that we plan to submit sometime next week. Basically, that meeting is just to remove the 20% ARPA or everything ARPA related and Public Law 22-22. So that is the goal that we have, working hard with our group, and that we look forward to, you know, that budget revision, and hopefully, you know, other things will come up once the enactment comes through. More than likely, there's going to be cost containment measures that have to take place in order for this government to be able to sustain itself.
Thank you. And the only last one I have for you, sir, is for those of us who don't know, which members that were announced today have to be approved through the Senate. I don't think everybody has to be, but some of them do.
Department heads, I believe.
Governor, can you just clarify whether the positions for DPS, Defense, and Homeland are still vacant, or are we just awaiting their return to the island?
Some of them are still vacant, and some of them we're still, you know, looking at several candidates. The departments that you've just mentioned are very, very critical departments. As we all know, these are departments that have, over the years, had controversies, and they deal with public safeties and sensitive departments. So the Lieutenant Governor and I are taking a full bore of considerations for those candidates. But we will be making those announcements fairly shortly, probably next week or the following.
And interested applicants are still able to send in the resume for those?
Sure.
Right. And then I have a question for the Commissioner for the Department of Corrections. Were you given a chance to review the transition report?
I have.
Could you tell us, you know, or could you identify some of the major topics that you'll be working on in this future term?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm truly honored to be of service to our community and for the opportunity to serve along with more than 150 dedicated men and women of the department. And like the Governor and Lieutenant Governor, I want integrity and trust I'm going to do my best to fulfill that, and I will give 110% of all that. Get that from me. But thank you.
How many applies for the DPS Commissioner's position?
Ooh. Maybe 3, 4. Some were referred. Some were being referred to us for consideration. yeah, it's one of the more difficult positions that we feel. So we want to do this deliberately. We want to make sure that we try our best to choose the right person and the right team for that. And knowing full well that sometimes in departments we're very sensitive, in critical departments, we will take our time and bring in even the existing management team to have a talk with them. But at the end of the day, you know, the Lieutenant Governor and I will take full responsibilities for our appointments. We will not waver into having people make decisions for us. We will make that decision and we'll take full responsibility for those decisions.
Can you have a statement from Leila Staffer?
Thank you. Can I talk? I think maybe test. All right. We want to use the equipment, right? I am really excited to serve with this team. There's an amazing group of professional and talented individuals at this table who are ready to serve and see how we can help our community move forward in this really tough situation. I know that each of us have a lot of solutions and innovative ways that we can look at the problems ahead and find solutions for all that can bring us to a harmony that we all need and deserve. I know that a lot of the messaging has been bleak, but I can assure you that we have been meeting, we have been looking at the ways that we can move forward with collaborating on how we can leverage our resources, and especially looking at how we can use the existing programs that are here right now to help our people move forward. And so at the Department of Labor, we do have employment services, and we encourage the community to come and register. We provide training and opportunities so that people can skill up in their abilities so that they can find their pathway to workforce involvement that will make them maybe earn more than they're at right now. And so it just takes the step of coming and registering. I did notice after the first ARPA 500 people were not renewed in December, we didn't see an increase in enrollment in our programs, and I thought, hey, there's something that we need to do about that. So this is my first call out to encourage community members. If you are looking for work or looking to get access to training, start at the Department of Labor, come to Employment Services and see what you can register for. WIOA also is looking for more participants, and all of these provide training opportunities so that you can earn more skills, get skills that will make you have a higher earning potential in the long run. And of course, we have so many great educational institutions. I'll be meeting with them in the next couple of days to collaborate on how we can make sure that all of these resources for training are available to our community, because we need you to join us in building our economy back, especially in the private sector. And so that's my main message to people, and I thank you for giving us this opportunity, and I look forward to what we can do.
Just clarification. So until the Senate confirms them, so those serving in the acting capacity will just continue to serve?
Yeah, those are the ones that needs Senate confirmation. Some of our appointees do not have to go through the Senate confirmation, so immediately they will take official to become the official head of these agencies.
I'm not sure about the youth affairs. Youth affairs doesn't need that.
Yeah, it doesn't need.
And the rest. So only Leila and Tracy?
Leila, Tracy, Yumo, PLNR, Joey, and corrections, indigenous affairs.
And Governor, can you address how you will ensure Rhoda and Tinian are also represented in your cabinet?
Yes.
What are you doing to make sure that happens?
We have candidates there under consideration from these islands.
But none right now.
No.
Oh, then
No.
continue.
But you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, personally, I never really think about in those lines. I just look at the individual candidates and their capacity and their ability and whether I trust that they can pull this out. It doesn't matter where you're from, you know. But we have very capable individuals under consideration from both of these other islands too.
And then just as a follow-up, with regards to your chief of staff, is there any reason why that's taking a lot longer than others?
I got a lot of reasons. And maybe I'll give you one of the biggest reasons is that at this point in time, the Office of the Governor's account has been overrun by $1 million. But secondly, you know, that's something that I also taking my time to take a close look at that. And there's many candidates out there. Some of them are not available. Some of them are, and these are very critical positions that I believe I need to take a lot of time to consider, because once we do this, I don't have time to turn back again.
And lastly, spoke with regards to the fiscal response team that you convened. You said maybe 3 weeks later we'd have an update. You told us that you're waiting to appoint your cabinet because you're focused on the fiscal disaster that is our finances. So are we going to get a clear picture anytime soon? We've been to some board meetings where board members are saying they're waiting to get a clear picture from you. So when can we get the clear picture?
Well, you know, the board meetings that don't have a clear picture of where their finances are, obviously are not doing their job. I mean, if a board doesn't know where it's at in terms of its finances, there's a big problem. Now, our fiscal response teams are working very hard. They have actually just finished talking to all our departments. And so the end game to that is that we need to move fast to getting a revised budget. The Lieutenant Governor and I have decided that it's no longer continues to be urgent for us to keep coming out in public and saying how bad things are. I believe people know, and we're pretty clear. I mean, very clear how bad things are, and we don't need to continue that discussion. Right now, we're looking at how we're going to address it. To keep this government afloat and address the 2024 budget submission, which is mandated that we submit by May 1. And so we're working very hard to do that. In the meantime, at the same time, we continue to look deeper into what happened, why it happened, what we need to do to hopefully recover some of that cost. Some of the transition reports and the reports that have come out have been submitted to the Office of the Public Auditor and the Office of the Attorney General. So they're also doing their part.
And just a quick follow-up. The IAGA, I believe, is meeting on February 8 in DC. That's the Interior Affairs convening of the territories. Is that something you're going to attend on February 8 in DC? And do you have any plans for what you're going to say there in terms of what the Commonwealth needs?
Yes. Fortunately, I will be able to make it to that meeting. Initially, I was very reluctant because of the situation that we're in, but I think it looks like it's very, very, very important also that I attend that meeting to engage with our federal partners in terms of the conditions and what we've done with the assistance that it would have given us, and also to try to articulate the situations that we're going to have a full discussion and take all the opportunities that we have to talk to individual federal agencies and partners on how, what we need to get our ship back on the, get ourselves back. So, yeah, we're working on the statement. I'm going to be given 5 minutes to articulate everything that is happening in the Commonwealth and put together the ask and come away with it.
Mr. Governor, you referenced the transition reports just now. One of our viewers just asked, will they be made public and when would they be released to the public or so?
Well, you know, after we reviewed some of the transition report, there was obviously some reasons to make those transition reports available for the last time to the departments, just to review whether, you know, there were some things that they can react to, but we will be submitting that report. The most critical report is the financial report, and that's you know, the transition report is a document that we can continue to refer back to and take corrective action in terms of the priorities of how we move forward in addressing some of the issues.
I've got one more, sorry. Okay. While we were outside, we saw the folks walking out from Joint Region Marianas and Indo-PACOM, some of the guys from the Air Force. Can you tell us about what their visit was about there?
Oh, yeah, we can. It's they're just giving us a briefing on the bird airfield. I guess they have on the supplemental EIS regarding the part of the project. So it's just a briefing of what's going on. Nothing classified. Thank you.
Thank you. Doug, if you don't mind, I gave a list of all the members of the media with the list of individuals that have been appointed, and you see in this room, the folks who are listed as secretary, those who do need confirmation by the Senate. So the others do not. So I'll be passing this out. Secondly, Richard, who is from our media office here, will be sending out a brief bio of all the appointees today, and you should have that in your inboxes before 5 p.m. So thank you so much for coming, and we can arrange some individual interviews.
Brian,
We'll take over for Brian.
Last question, Bill. You did not mention anything regarding NBA semi-autonomous agencies or autonomous agencies regarding board of directors resigning. Are there any holdouts?
There's a lot of holdouts.
Can you?
Do you want me to? I don't want to go through any of these boards and commission, but there are folks that believe they can serve under this administration. So I'll deal with that. We will deal with that possibly next week. We're putting together some of the reappointments or new appointees to these boards and commissions.